Each time that you deal with a customer or a member of the public, it's called an encounter. So you need to be aware of the appropriate attitude to adopt when dealing with various types of people. You should take into account how you talk to them in different situations. So each encounter will demand and should also achieve a reasonable response and should reach a conclusion that is satisfactory to all parties concerned. So where they win and you win is called a win-win. Whilst we must accept that not all encounters will end happily, the correct and conscious use of effective communication skills should keep instances of conflict and aggression towards you at a minimum. So using effective communication skills to avoid conflict can greatly reduce the chances of conflict arising in the first place and can help you to deal with difficult situations when they occur. So you've already recognized the fact that the best way to deal with conflict is to try to prevent it from happening in the first place. So thinking of our 4-stage model, we've got frustration, anger, aggression, and violence. So it's not always possible. So we need to plan of how you deal with potential conflict situations. And you can do this using the PART model, which stands for predict, avoid, reduce, and take. So it's very similar to a risk assessment. So predict where and how conflict might occur. So you need to make yourself aware of subjects and incidents that are likely to bring out frustration, anger, aggression in others. And you can do this by learning about where you work, the services being provided, and the types of people you're likely going to be dealing with. Okay, so A stands for avoiding. Okay, so avoid those subjects and incidents where possible. And you can use this by using proactive services delivery strategies. So being proactive, you can manage your customer expectations and make sure that you always give a good impression and come across as a positive to those that you have to deal with. Then we've got reduce, so R is for reduce. The chances of situations escalating when conflict does arise, if people's frustrations lead to conflict, then you need to be able to recognize the early signs and use techniques to try and stop the situation from worsening. Then try to calm things down so that you can deal with the actual problem. And we can do this by staying calm, building rapport with people, acknowledging that there is a problem, and actively listening, showing empathy, winning their trust, and explaining things to people properly. Then lastly, we've got T, which stands for take action. So take action by using problem-solving strategies. Try using one or more of the following problem-solving strategies we're going to go with. So focus on the problem. So when people become frustrated or angry, they often say and do things that they normally wouldn't. The emotional side of the brain has taken over. We need to try and keep ourselves calm and not to react negatively to the negative behavior being shown towards us. It can be difficult, but we need to try to look beyond the swearing and the abuse and try to find out what the real problem is underneath so that you can deal with it. Once the other person realizes that you're there to help them, you understand their problem, and you're willing to deal with it, they will often calm down. So don't be afraid to apologize if it turns out that their complaint is a legitimate one. Sometimes that will go a long way to reducing any potential conflict before you have a chance to fully deal with the complaint. Sometimes a complaint or dispute can be resolved by simply explaining the appropriate laws, rules, or procedures to them and explaining the reasons for them. Use palms. So palms, check your position, maintain a positive attitude, look and listen for the person, make space for them, and stand in a non-aggressive stance. So this is what we call open palms. Okay, this shows non-aggression.